podcast is a production of Third City Coalition. In our show, we examine case studies in urban development in Stockton and other cities like Stockton across the country, exploring their local and regional impacts. Individual efforts play a role in Third City development, and it starts with you.
This is Barbara Berrigan-Perea with Delta Flows, a radio show by the Voice of Stockton and Restore the Delta. This is the weekly radio show where we discuss everything Delta related: the environment, water management, water quality, farming, history and culture, public events, recreation, Delta food, and the arts. Tune into Delta Flows on KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at KXVS Radio.
KXVS LP Stockton.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Good morning, Stocktonians, and welcome to another exciting episode of Tales and Tips. I am privileged to have with me today the folks from Lord's Gym. I'm going to give a quick PSA before we talk about Lord's Gym. I want to remind all of you to come and support our local firefighters at the Fire Bowl, Saturday, April 7th at Pacific Bowl. I wanted to remind you all that this weekend, March 24th, is March for Our Lives, 10 a.m. to noon at Martin Luther King Plaza. And Earth Day is also coming up on Sunday, April 22nd at Victory Park behind the Hagen Museum. All right, without further ado, we'll talk about Lord's Gym. For those of you that aren't aware, that was started by Pastor Joey Steelman and his wife Jennifer, who are affiliated with Oasis Church. And we also have with us today Heather Buzo, who's the executive director. I'm going to have Joey start first, let him introduce himself and talk about his vision and how Lord's Gym came about. We'll talk about where it is, previous locations, and what the mission is. Take it away.
We're so honored to have you be with you this morning.
Great to see you.
Thank you for having us. We're honored to be here.
I'm excited that you guys are here. So take us back to even before the previous Lord's Gym and talk to us about what your vision was, why you wanted to start this, and how it helps the community.
Absolutely. Well, in 2010, I was asked to come and stay in Stockton. Previous to that, I was traveling the nation doing public school assemblies. I was doing school assemblies all over the nation, talking to students about making right decisions, staying in school, saying no to the things that would hurt their destiny. And I did that for 13 years. And in 2010, I was really inspired to come to Stockton and plant roots and stay. And so,
awesome. Why Stockton?
Well, I had been living here, but I was traveling extensively 3 weeks out of the month, and so I moved to Stockton a few years prior to that. I was born and raised in Sacramento, and I decided through a lot of petitioning and just a lot of reflection to stay the course in Stockton. But I knew if we're going to stay here that we're going to have to make an impact. And so we started to really think through of how we can build a facility for kids and for adults to interact together in a positive environment. And so it birthed in my heart in 2010, actually 2009, for the Lord's Gym. And that's where we started the original Lord's Gym on January 16, 2010, as a result of a need, seeing a need in the city and wanting to facilitate and meet that need.
And where was that in Stockton? So
I was brought in 2009, like I said, and I was brought into an old abandoned warehouse on Tommydon, which is right off of Hammer Lane, behind the Kaiser here in Stockton. And it was a beat-up building, had no windows. It was 8,000 square feet. And they brought me in, and they were keeping some vehicles inside there. And they said, "What do you think about this place?" I said, "This place would be perfect for the Lord's Gym." And so I took a $90,000 loan.
Ouch.
And in that $90,000 loan, because I didn't have any money at the time, any resources, took a $90,000 loan and renovated that building. And we started on January 16th, the Lord's Gym. And
awesome.
In January of that year, we saw that little building outgrew it in the first month of being there. And I always had a desire to have a more of a facility for kids and adults, and so they can interact, on a larger capacity. And so we started the original gym on January, like I said, in 2010, and we realized that we were having 300 people a day coming through that little facility. It wasn't very big, but we did the best with what we had, and we started our programming out of that little gym. And I would drive by every day this big facility that was vacant. It was a former Copeland's building, Copeland Sports.
It's vacant for a long time.
Yeah, 12 years. And so I would drive by it daily, and I would always say, that would be a great gym. That would be a great facility. And through a lot of prayer and petitioning and a lot of no's.
And even your kids were involved. You shared at the ribbon cutting. I thought it was so cute that your own kids were praying to help to make this happen, that you could be where Copeland's was. Yeah,
so this former Copeland sporting goods store that was a 30,000 square foot building that had been dormant for so many years, it was interesting because on three different times I tried to acquire about the building, and it just never came through. And so in 2015, I got to the owner of the building and brought him to the little facility and showed him the Lord's Gym that we were occupying at that time, and showed him around, him and his wife, and said, "Sir, we would like to duplicate that on a larger scale at your building." And he had let the building go. He had other properties, and he doesn't live in this area, and so he came down to see us. And through a long story, to make it short, we made a deal on that building. And then the deal turned, and the broker had called one day and said, the owner has made other arrangements. He's selling it to another party, and if you come up with X amount of cash, he might consider the offer, but other than that, the deal is over. And my little 8-year-old daughter began to pray, "God, don't let that man sleep until he sells us that building." And so about 3 months went by after we got told the building was not available any longer. I got a call, no longer from the broker, but from the owner of the building.
Wow.
And he said, "Joey, my wife won't let me sleep. I got to sell you that building." And so...
When was that?
That was 2016, actually.
Wow.
2016. And through a series of a lot of prayer, a lot of hard work, and a lot of people getting involved in the community, we bought that building in 2016. And we took a year and a half, really, to renovate it, build it, pay for it, or start to pay for it, and get it to what it is today, a phenomenal, beautiful facility that is really impacting the community already on a large scale.
It's beautiful. And can you give the address? I know you've said that it's on Hammer Lane, but for those people that don't know where Copeland's was.
Yeah, it is on East Hammer Lane, 848 East Hammer Lane in Stockton, right at Tam O'Shanter and Hammer Lane, right between I-5 and 99, kind of in the middle there, right by West Lane as well. It's real close to West Lane, so it's a large, prominent building, very, very noticeable from Hammer Lane, and has Lord's Gym lit up at night on it.
Big parking lot.
Big parking lot. It's a beautiful facility. We'd love to have you come down and participate and come and see it.
Well, and Heather, let's now talk to you as the executive director. Tell us about the programs that are being run there and the over 1,000 kids right now that, since you've opened in January, that you're already starting to help.
Yes, so as of yesterday, we hit our 1,000th kid, and on average, we have about 250 to 300 that are coming in each day right now. And so they come for, a handful of different reasons, whether it's to come and use the fitness facility so that they can work out. But a majority of them come because they don't really have any other place to go. So Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursday nights, we hold Vision, which is a group for our youth. So 13 to 17-year-olds can come. And we have agendas every day. We try to change it up so that they don't get bored. So Mondays are Motivation Mondays. How can we help motivate them in their lives every day? Tuesdays are Our Power. So whether that's working out for an hour, whether that's helping them with any subjects that they need support with, we want to make sure that we have an hour dedicated to them for whatever they would like to work on. And then on Thursdays, we talk about current events, and we leave it up to the kids to determine what is a current event to them and how can we talk about it, and it helps them get a little bit more involved about what's happening in the community and what's happening in Stockton, since that's where they live. So that program, it's growing. Each youth that comes through our doors goes through a resiliency test, and we ask them a series of questions where they can answer on their own. There are no right or wrong answers, but at the end of the day, it helps us get to know them a little bit more, and in turn helps us get a better understanding of what programs we need to bring on board based on how our scores are. And right now we know that science and math are really hard. We know that a lot of our kids don't feel like they belong in school because they don't get support. So now we're diving deeper, and our youth development program really helps us get to know who these kids are and why they're there, who they consider family to be. And a lot of them will say their friends who have invited them to come to the city center are their family members.
Awesome. And I love that earlier when we were talking, you said that this is spread by word of mouth, that these are not kids that were affiliated with your church. These are kids from the community that don't have anywhere to be. So this is a safe place, and they're getting just complete positive influences, whether they want to work out physically or whether they want to work to improve themselves, which is great. What is the age range of the kids that are coming to you?
13 to 17-year-olds.
Okay, so they're a little older. These are not your youngsters. And is there a fee? Can they just come anytime? Is there a certain time frame that they can show up?
We ask that they come outside of school hours.
Okay, so after 3.
After 3 p.m., and they will start flooding the doors around 3:30 to 4. Again, it's a fun environment for them. They get to play with state-of-the-art gaming. We have brand new pool tables, foosball table, Xboxes. We have a beautiful indoor basketball court, which a lot of the kids just kind of flock to.
Well, and you also have a study center, and I believe you have plans to have computers and a library there as well. And there are no fees for the kids to come to this.
That's
correct?
right. Yeah,
Okay.
we really wanted to put a signature of love with these teenagers. You know, you said something important, that, you know, they're a little bit older. And, you know, demographics are very challenging in Stockton for teenagers. There's nothing for them to do. There's no centers of this magnitude, so we're very fortunate to have a facility that not only is excellent, but it's inviting.
There's a teen center downtown, but it's not conveniently located for a lot of students, and your facility, quite frankly, is a lot bigger than comparatively than that facility, and it's amazing. And I love that, and we'll go back into the funding more, that at least this is funded in part by people joining as a membership to your gym, and we should talk about that. So you've highlighted some of the activities. Go back and talk about the gym, talk about the equipment that's there, talk about how low the price is to be a member, and how much of that goes back to the programs for the kids.
Well, what's interesting is that in 2010, when I looked at that beat up old warehouse, and it wasn't much, but we used what we had at the time to make it an excellent facility. But we really wanted to interact with adults and kids. We believe that Stockton needs more than just a teen center, as great as the teen centers are. But really one of Stockton's issues is the interaction factor. When they see people, if they are, because we have such a wonderful tapestry, a melting pot of different diversities in Stockton, different ethnicities. And one of the things the city center brings is a beautiful unity. And that's where the gym side comes in, because it's, you know, we have a hashtag, more than just the gym. And the reason it's more than just the gym, because not only is it reaching that education component, not only is it reaching that community component, but it has a fitness component in there for adults as well. We really strive at this current city center, when you come in there as an adult, it is a state-of-the-art gym that equals any gym that you would go to, whether it's a, you know, I don't want to name the gyms, but no matter what gym you would go to, this would rival and surpass it. From our fitness classes with Les Mills, which is a very high-end aerobics, body pump, those are part of your memberships as an adult. Not only is your membership keeping kids safe, but you're getting a benefit out of it.
Awesome.
The gym equipment is over
facility.
$1 million gym equipment, all new gym equipment, multiple treadmills, stair climbers, gliders, everything from free weights to machine weights. There's something for all ages at this facility. So we really want to bring that interaction that makes a center more than just a gym. Because if we're just going after the kids, that's great, but we really want an adult to go there, get a great workout, and look across that room and see a teenager maybe playing games or playing basketball and go, my membership is keeping them here safe, giving them a great positive environment. Because see, that brings the adult hope, and then it brings them a place of, hey, I love my city. I think there's something here that I can contribute to, and also I'm getting a benefit out of it as well.
Yes, it's a win-win. That's a win-win combination. And the membership is not expensive. I've belonged to multiple gyms in our community, and this is the least expensive membership that I've participated in. And I love that it's giving back. And it's just beautiful. For those that haven't seen it, the machines are all just amazing, high-end equipment. Talk about the track that's there.
Yeah, we have, which I'm not sure, I think we're the only indoor track in the Stockton area and surrounding areas, but we have an indoor walking/running track. Phase 1 is accomplished. The track is defined. We're looking to do phase 2, which is to put the flooring on that track so you have a good cushion when you walk or run it. And it's a great thing because inside the track is the gym equipment, but you can walk around that track. We really wanted to provide a place where adults could come, and maybe the weather's not permitting them to be outside and walk, or maybe their environment is, they're not really secure to walk outside, that they could come get a membership there, walk around that track, and know that their membership matters. It keeps kids safe, and they're getting a benefit out of that as well.
Well, and a lot of places will have areas where you can run, but it's usually the basketball court. So you're dodging while people are playing basketball, or you're running during the times when games aren't going, but you're running on that hard floor, which isn't very forgiving on your joints compared to the amazing track that you have now and that you're planning to transform to make it even better. And going back to the teenage kids, it's such an important time to be reaching out and targeting and helping to mold these young minds when they're very impressionable. It's a time that they could be getting into gangs. It's a time they could be getting into drugs. And you've already said these are kids that have nowhere else to go. In 2 months, you have 1,000 kids from our community. Just imagine over time how many more kids and what a huge positive impact that's going to make in the long run. It's amazing.
You know, one of the things too is we have an amazing staff. Heather, who is taking on the role of the executive director, and all the staff and the volunteers there. What the city center is about is relationships, building those relationships, not just on a large scale, but the one-on-ones to really help them. We want everybody to feel important, but we also want everybody to feel that their membership matters, but them being there matters. You know, giving them, specifically teenagers, knowing that they're sponsored, because people in the community love them and they want them here, and they want
They
this
want them to be safe.
I can't tell you, when we first opened, because every teenager has to have a parent consent, or legal guardian has to sign a waiver for them to be there, and we weren't letting the kids come unless the parent or guardian signed that waiver. And so if you could have saw the parent look of, I've been kidnapped and drugged here, because they went home and they said, you got to come. And I had the wonderful privilege of watching the mom, grandma's face when they came into that facility. Their mouth dropped open. They're looking around at this beautiful, massive facility. And everyone without exception, I'll paraphrase them, but they said, what's the catch? How can my son or daughter be here free, being sponsored? What's the catch? And I would say, because this community loves them, we want them to have a safe environment. And we had the wonderful privilege to watch some of those parents go, you know what, I'd like to sponsor a kid.
That's
you know,
awesome.
my $20 a month,
Wow.
I'm going to sponsor, because I want more kids like mine to be in this great environment.
That's awesome. Wow. Well, sorry, I'm getting choked up. That's beautiful. What about on the weekend? are there activities for the kids on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, what we're working on, we have adult classes starting for the aerobic side, for all the body, training, because we want adults to be interacting there on the weekend as well. But Saturdays, we're getting ready to do some sports leagues. We're gearing up for some basketball leagues on Saturday, and some training areas that are coming on the weekend as well.
This Saturday is kind of our first big all-in-one day. We have our first 3-on-3 tournament, so all of our youth and adults can sign up, and that is all laid out by volunteers and some staff. We have fitness classes. We're doing a launch for one of our classes on Saturday, as well as instructor auditions. So
awesome. And are you looking at all for mentors to help with the kids?
Yes. So another program that we have is our volunteer program. And we have an array of different positions that we need some support with, whether it's housekeeping and helping keep the facility clean, to mentoring our kids and attending vision with them, getting to know them, tutoring them, helping them out with their with some of the subjects that they're struggling with. And we're starting to learn that there are more and more kids who yearn for that support. Some of them don't know how to ask for it. So being able to attend vision really not only opens them up, but we're able to know, which of our volunteers are going to relate to these kids, and what characteristics do we need to get to know. Because some of these kids, they don't want to open up right away. They want to test you at first and see how well you're listening and how well you care. And just in the 3 months we've been open, some of the kiddos, they have opened up, and we know where they need some support. And our core focus is to build strength and to ignite possibilities, and we want to do that in every area of the facility.
Excellent. And so if someone that's listening wants to volunteer, how can they reach out to you?
They can go to our website, lordsgymcitycenter.org, and on the top navigation bar, there is a button that says Get Involved and Volunteer. It'll take you directly to the positions that we have available and our online application. Because we are a youth center, we do ask that certain volunteer types go through a background check. So it does take a little bit of time to get onboarded, but once you're onboarded, it's rewarding and it's amazing.
Awesome. Again, it just shows value, that we value the kids, we value the adults, and we value the partnerships. And one of the things that I think is such, and I would just encourage all listeners, if you get a chance, come out and see the facility, because not only is it a beautiful facility, but it's really, and I say this very respectfully, it's really a statement to Stockton on how you can raise the standards being a nonprofit by really making an impact by just the visual of it, but also the everything from how you volunteer, how you sign up, how you interact. I think it really does raise the standard of what Stockton is, because Stockton is a beautiful place. It's Stockton wonderful people, and a lot of times it gets a bad rap because of isolated instances or certain demographics of situations or circumstances that arise and become prominent. But one of the things that's often overlooked is Stockton is all the background people that make Stockton shine bright and make it what it is. And I think the City Center is a result of that, of a lot of people's hard work, love, prayers, and support to really show Stockton, we love you, we care, and we need you. And the City Center, it's more than just a gym. It's the first. This is a template. This is a model of more to come. Not only more to come in Stockton, but more to come in the nation. We really feel like this could be a template for inner cities and communities that need this type of center that will really engage a community. Because, again, you have an opportunity to interact not only from police officers to civil servants to house moms, normal people to people that may be on what they call the edge of despair, where they get to a place where they become gang affiliated, or they become an outcast for whatever reason, or become an issue on the radar of problems. We're going to combat them. We're going to combat them. We're going to combat them with love and with hope. But even greater than those things, and those things are phenomenal, a place. Because it's one thing to give love and hope. Then when you add it with a place, that they can stay, that even to me is just a greater recipe for success. Because now they become doomed to succeed instead of doomed to fail.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. Did you want to give a shout out to any people or organizations that were really pivotal in helping this opening come together?
Well, one of the greatest things to watch is, as a pastor in the community of Stockton, the reason I came to Stockton was to pastor and to really help Stockton. And I've never pastored before. I was never part of a church before. And
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and to come to Stockton and not be a pastor or to be a part of any type of organized church before, and to kind of take on and start a church. And it's been so neat to watch the faith community rise up and support something that's a little out of the box, a little different. But our church, Oasis Church, has been a great support from the hundreds and hundreds of people that have supported it with their financial contributions, their prayers, their volunteering, and they're staying the course through difficulties of building a facility, of raising the capital to build it, to marching along with us in that journey. It's been really neat. So, besides, of course, my wife, who was there to guide us and help and support, and my children, the community, the church, the family, the faith community, other churches as well. Progressive Community Church, a great supporter of the City Center. Quail Lakes Baptist, I'm thinking of a few. They painted that facility. They came out on a Saturday, their congregation, and helped paint that facility. Progressive Community supported the facility before it was even a reality. They seen it in the vision, and they said, we are a part of it. And watching the other faith-based communities, churches, nonprofits, and businesses, come along and really be a part of what we're doing. It's been really neat.
And it's just amazing when you walk in there, the atmosphere, it's unlike any other gym. The lighting is beautiful, everything is shiny, and it's just gorgeous. Everything is high-tech, state-of-the-art. I'm excited about the track, and the track basically goes around a lot of the elliptical and other equipment. It's an amazing use of space also, and you have a child care area as well, and a workout room, and some other rooms, and then the basketball court is phenomenal as well. And it was neat at the ribbon cutting. You had a lot of people that were throwing free throw shots at the basketball court, and that was fun. I got to participate in that, and it's just really neat that for $20 a month, you can have a membership there and know that you're giving back to the community. I know right now you want people to donate money towards the track. How can they do that? How can they reach out to you? Is there a donate button on the Facebook page or the website? Do they need to call the facility?
They can go to our website, again, lordsgymcitycenter.org. They can make a donation directly to the page, or they can go to our staff page and send myself or another member of our management team an email. We'd love for them to come out, not only to see the facility, but we also want to learn what's philanthropically important to them and how can they get involved with what we're doing. We have so many different areas, from the track to the basketball court to our opportunity center to even just sponsoring some of our youth every single month so that we can keep them there. There's so many different ways that our community can get involved, but we first want everyone to come on down and check it out, because once you see it for yourself, then it's amazing, but we like to see how our community wants to get involved. Every time we bring somebody by, they get excited about a particular spot of the center, and then they let us know how they want to get involved.
Awesome.
Yeah, we have such a unique facility, and there's added components as we're going and growing. From we're going to put batting cages in the inside there.
Oh, wonderful.
So there'll be indoor batting cages for the kids. There's another component of food and clothes distribution in our community.
I was going to ask about that.
So
I'm glad you brought that up. That's
so
wonderful.
Again, that hashtag more than just the gym is there. And one of the greatest things that I think that the City Center does, besides the opportunity for our teenagers and the kids, but the atmosphere of the workout. You mentioned numerous times the $20 a month. What's the catch? Month to month, no annual fee, no setup fees, $20 a month, and immediately that membership helps keep teenagers there. that's a great opportunity for community involvement, but
That's
also
huge.
personal
Almost
involvement.
anyone can do that. It's affordable.
Yeah.
It's practical, and if you can give more, if you can make a donation for the track or other things, great.
Yeah.
But most people, $20 a month is within their budget, and they're getting something back also.
Yeah, and I think that's a great combination, because they'll get something, but they're gaining something. You know, it's a blessing for them to be a part of that city center. I tell adults all the time, your partnership with us is a blessing to us, but it's a blessing to you. You're going to get the benefits of that blessing by knowing that your membership is keeping kids safe. I often, when it gets later in the evening, and if I'm not at the center, I think to myself, as we close at 10 a.m., our hours of operation daily are 5 a.m. till 10 p.m., Monday through Friday, and then 8 to 4 on Saturdays, and then Sundays we're closed. I look at the later evening hours and I think, where would those kids be if they're not there? You know, would they be home? Maybe. Or would they be on the streets? Especially when summer comes, you know, providing that opportunity for them to be there. It's just it brings joy to my heart, but it brings me a place of tranquility to know, I know they're there. I know they're safe. We partner with a security company as well, because we want our adult members to know that when they come onto our campus, that it is a secured campus. It's a safe environment. Everything from our check-in system to our background checks to the way that you enter and exit the facility to our multiple cameras.
And parking lot security. There was parking lot security.
We still have
when I was
that.
there,
Yeah.
which is great.
We just want the community to know that it's a safe environment. It's a controlled environment. But it's a beautiful environment.
It's a wonderful environment. And you can do so much with it. I mean, you could, I know on Saturdays you close earlier, but you could have special events like a dance on a Saturday night during the summer. It's the basketball court would be perfect for that. And it's exciting that the kids are excited about it. They want to be there. It's an atmosphere that's fun. I know you talked about the pool tables and the games, but it's more than that. They're getting things to build who they are as a person, so that in the future, when they become adults, that they will want to give back to the community as well.
You know, and I'm a direct result. The people have asked, what made you start the Lord's Gym? Why Stockton? Why did you start the Lord's Gym? And it was really a result of my life. I was a 2-time convicted felon before I was 18 years old. I was in and out of youth authority. I was in and out of juvenile hall. When I was 11 years old, I became homeless because of my father's drug addiction. And as a result of losing our house that I was raised in there in Sacramento, my mother was too ill to take care of me and my brothers, and I was the baby. And so I took the brunt of my father's addictions and my mother's ailment. And we, as a result, we were really in a bad place for a lot of years. And as a result, I made bad decisions. My oldest brother, unfortunately, is incarcerated. He's highly involved in prison gangs, and so as watching his life, and because of an upbringing, I went down that same path. And I was already a validated gang member before I was even a teenager. I was already in and out of youth authority, in and out of jail. I made a mess of my life. When I was 14 years old, I started to lift weights, not to feel good, not to look good, or play any sports. I wanted to get big. When I hit you, you're going to feel my pain, because I had a lot of it. People ask me, well, you were hard. No, I wasn't hard. I was scarred. My life was an absolute turmoil. I was an abandoned child. I was an abused child because of being abandoned. And I made a mess of my life. I was 22 years old. And the only productive thing I did at 22 was I liked to lift weights, and I was making a lot of bad decisions. I thought that the prison system would be my ultimate life. I thought I'd be just a person that would be incarcerated like my oldest brother. He's still incarcerated to this day. And I was 22 years old, and I got invited to a facility with the same heart as ours. And here I was 22 there in Sacramento, and I got invited to a facility like ours that had the same heart, that really wanted to help the kids. And I found myself going there and working out. And one afternoon, a gentleman came to me and says, Joey, you look pretty violent on the outside. You know, and I did at the time. I had 320 pounds. I have I have jailhouse tattoos on me. I'm not your normal pastor. People often say, you don't look like a pastor. I said, thank you. I shouldn't look like one. But
you understand. You can relate to people, and you've brought it full circle, and that's amazing. And thank you for sharing that, because that gives you the special understanding of what a lot of kids in our community are feeling and experiencing, and who better than you to know how to turn things around and look at what you've started from and what you've become and are doing with your life.
And as a result of being in an environment that was positive, not anything being pushed at me or forced at me, an environment that was inviting, a safe environment. I was challenged without being challenged. I was changed without being provoked. And my life was forever altered.
That's awesome.
And I knew when I came to Stockton, we got to build a facility for those kids, because if we don't, this is going to get what they've always gotten.
They'll all be like your brother.
We have to help them. And, you know, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to talk about it. Then it's another thing to implement. It's another thing to implement. And we implemented with a strong presence. And we just had the wonderful privilege to have our chief of police, Eric Jones, over last week with Joe Silva. And their vision of, or their viewing of it, and their partnership of Stockton PD has been exceptional.
That's awesome. Maybe we can have cadets out of the kids that are there. Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be amazing. It's the interaction that we've had so far with some of the officers has been great. They get to interact with the kids, whether it's playing basketball, playing video games.
They were there at the ribbon cutting.
They were at the ribbon cutting. They even one of our Thursdays, we let the kids determine what current event they wanted to talk about, and it happened to be right after the Florida shooting. That's something that they wanted to discuss, and we had a few officers from the police department who happened to stop by. They actually joined in on that conversation.
Awesome.
So we were able to talk as staff with the group. We partner with Community Partnerships for Families, so they were able to help facilitate the conversation.
Great.
But in turn,
what a tough
we had the
conversation.
officers there to help give a different perspective than what the kids see on social media or just kind of what they're used to hearing around the street.
Do you remember the name of the facility in Sacramento?
Oh yeah, it was the original Lord's Gym.
All right,
It was the original one. It was the one that, the original one is where I found the heart to kind of take that concept and morph it and bring it into a modern day version of it. And wonderful. Absolutely. And the gentleman who founded that, him and I are very dear friends.
Awesome.
To this very day, 20 years later, 20 plus years later. I know I look young. But the neat thing is, as a result of that facility, I went back to school. I got my diploma, and then I was the first in the family to graduate college. I have two major degrees as a result of it, two the theological degrees as a result. But here I say that to say a continuation school dropout. I had a 9th grade education. Because of a facility like the gym, sometimes it takes a dumbbell to reach a dumbbell. And I was a dumbbell that needed reaching, and that gym did that for me. And I am a strong advocate. If it can help me, it can help anybody. And it may not be in the way that we think.
It's not traditional.
It's
outside
not traditional,
the box.
but it may be in a way of just giving them a place. And from the adult to the teenager to our kids club, we have a phenomenal kids club. We haven't even discussed that, but the facility is for all ages. We have a kids club where if they're not teenagers and they can't because of insurances, and with the older kids, they can go into our kids club. We have gaming in there for them. We have interaction for them in the kids club.
Awesome.
And
what age is that, the kids club?
Potty trained up until they're 12 years old.
Awesome.
And then when they're 13.
So preteen.
Yeah.
Preteen, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also have locker rooms, showers. It's a fully functioning normal gym stuff for adult memberships. At that $20 price point it's really special, because you look at it and go, I brought in a former gym owner recently to the facility, and as he looked around it, he owned 2 other gyms that were for-profit gyms. And as he looked around, he says, "Why are you only charging $20 a month?" He says, this is a facility that warrants 3 times that.
Easily.
And I said, well, because we want to make it a great, affordable place for the community. And he said, you're selling yourself short. And I didn't think so, because I think it really gives something that the people, even if they have another gym membership, I tell people, doesn't matter. Then your membership is going to be a sponsorship, whether you use it or not. Now it's going to be a tax deduction for you.
I have 2 gym memberships, and just because of sometimes I'm in Stockton, sometimes I'm in other cities. But it's perfect. I mean, I don't see how anyone walking through the doors of that facility wouldn't be just awestruck with not only how amazing the facility is as a gym alone, but what you're doing in the community, and want to be a part of that. It's just phenomenal.
Thank you.
It's just phenomenal. And earlier you talked about, yes, this is very outside the box, but if we look at what YMCA was doing in the past, this is a more modern version of that. And in our community that unfortunately is riddled with issues with gangs and with drug abuse, what a more needed and amazing way to reach out, especially to teenagers, and give them a place where they feel they belong and they're welcomed and they're wanted.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Did you want to say anything else, anything additional? Let's plug your address and your website and any contact information again.
So we're located on Hammer Lane. The address is 848 East Hammer Lane, Stockton, California, 95210. You can learn more about the City Center by going to our website, lordsgymcitycenter.org, or you can reach us on Facebook, and so our handle is just Lord's Gym City Center. Our phone number is 209-478-5496.
And hours?
Our hours of operation, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. Saturdays, we're open 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we're closed on Sundays.
Awesome. And any final comments about the gym?
Well, I would like to say to all the listeners out there, you know, the best thing we can do is stay the course. And I was told a long time ago, you don't reform things by leaving. And I think Stockton has so much potential, so much opportunity, that we're going to stay the course. And all of the listeners in the San Joaquin area and surrounding areas in Stockton, you know, being a part of something bigger than yourself is always important, so we stay the course. Whether it's a facility like the City Center, or whether it's their day-to-days, what they're doing in their personal lives, it's so important to stay the course and be faithful in that. And I just want to encourage all those listeners, from maybe the mom that's listening or the person that feels like they're not really mattering or significant, them staying the course and being faithful in that is significant. And all of us can do great things, because all of us can help somebody.
Definitely.
And we may not be able to do everything, but we can do one thing, and that is stay the course, do it with a good attitude, do it with a smile. And I think that makes Stockton shine even brighter. From years ago, remember being one of Forbes magazine's worst cities in America, to change that narrative and being one of the best cities in America to live in. Why? Because the people in Stockton and the San Joaquin Valley are people of excellence. They're people of resilience. They're people of strong principles that will not waver, and they'll stay faithful. And I think that the listeners here today are a tribute to that. And I also think that being a part of nonprofits in the community, whether it's the City Center or other things, is how that you make Stockton shine even brighter.
And that's why I love our radio station, the Voice of Stockton. We go out and we work with organizations and we highlight them. And this is such an important community radio station. I'm honored to be a part of it. And with that, I'm going to sign off. I am the Voice of Stockton. You are the Voice of Stockton. We are the Voice of Stockton. Make it a great day.
Thank you.